start, so. Well, it's unacceptable to be fat.
That's something I would say. Okay, I like how this is starting.
It's a great start. Yeah, I mean, I know you say that, but it's one of those things where, do you know why you're saying that? Yes, because I've been fat before and I lost weight. Well, me too. I've been fat my whole life. I've been way skinnier than I am now, and I've been way heavier than I am now. Was I less valuable at one point in there? Well,
My
yeah,
one
you can make
standard.
an argument that you're less valuable when you're fatter because you drain resources, but that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I mean, in general, being fat is unacceptable because you control every single morsel of food that goes into your mouth. Yeah. It shows a lack of discipline. It shows a lack of character. It shows a lack of temperance. And when you're fat, it's an outward manifestation of your inadequacies. When I see somebody who's 5
This guy's like me. I like.
600 pounds,
No,
all I can
I
think
never
is,
really liked Myron too much, but I like what he's saying so far.
why do they care so little about their health that they can do this, allow themselves to gain that much weight, knowing it's taken 20, 30, 40 years off their life? I just can't imagine not wanting to live that badly. I understand. Like, no, it's I've definitely felt disgusted looking at my own body and looking at other fat bodies in my life. A lot of the disgust I felt looking at people was me feeling disgusted with myself, and then projecting that feeling onto other people. And I don't think anyone on either side will disagree that health is important. I know that my own mental health was way worse when I was spending every fixate of my life trying to get smaller and trying to be thinner. I don't think there's anyone that can look at somebody 500, 600, 700 pounds and not think, wow, what have they done? And not be disgusted. Like, how can you not? I just can't understand.
You can't assume that everyone has the same opinion because, unfortunately, some people have emotional stuff that happened, traumatic stuff that's happened, so you can't just count and just say, whoa,
See, we're alike, bro. I literally did this before he did that.
There's way worse stuff going on in the world. Saying, oh my god, I'm sad, I'm gonna take this. You're fat, you made that decision. You live in the best country, you live in a civilized, first world country where electricity, internet power, etc. You deserve to be bullied. It's ridiculous. So yeah, all these people going on, people being violent. It's ridiculous. We are so privileged here in the United States and in the West in general. And when I see a fat person, I'm like, wow, you got the gift of life. You got the gift of being in a developed country, and you're a fat people that's talking about body positivity on TikTok. What the hell is going on?
That's crazy.
Because not everyone thinks like that.
No, we need to bring shame back. Okay. We need to bring shame back in so many other regards.
I agree.
We need to deal with sluts. We need to shame.
3 minutes in, this is good.
Strongest defenses against degeneracy and.
That's true.
Yeah. You had a personal experience you wanted to share. You said you used to be overweight.
Oh yeah, so I did an experiment back in 2015 where I bulked for almost 2 years, and I got up to 250 pounds.
Well, why is this
counting? It took me about 7 months, and I systematically did it, controlling my calories, tracked my macros, tracked my protein,
good enough,
carbs,
whatever.
and systematically lost 1 to 2 pounds per week. So you chose to gain up to 250. Yeah, so I've been also I'm naturally skinny. Yeah, and then I was alright, I'm gonna get fat as an experiment. Yeah. Did it, and then I was alright, now I'm gonna lose the weight. And then all I did was just track my calories, I ate the same food every single day.
Yeah, losing and gaining weight is not that hard. Like all these people are like, oh, I don't know how to gain weight, I don't know how to lose weight, bro. It's not that hard. Just eat less and eat more. If it's so hard for you to, bro. If it's so hard for you to find a place where you can go up in weight or go down in weight, just track your calories, bro.
And everything was controlled when I got done.
Oh, I don't know how to track my calories. Forget about it. Forget about doing anything important.
I agree with you there. I am naturally this way. This is with working out 4 or 5 times. That's natural. This is
How fat is actually from this angle? He looks pretty fat. I'm not gonna lie. From the other angle, it didn't look too bad, but from the side, you can tell he's kind of fat.
No, it's not natural at all because at the end of the day, if you don't lose weight, by definition, you're not in a calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, then you're gonna either maintain or gain weight, and that's the problem is that people don't track their calories. And that's true, but people burn at their resting metabolic rate a different set of calories. Doesn't matter.
Was I get too granular right now? Roger, it's gonna be one of those episodes, right? Let's bring in the disagreeers and hear from them.
So people wait.
So
So
you're not-
people disagree that I felt disgusted looking at. What? I many times I have. I mean, every time I see a girl that's kind of up there, it's like, uh, to get in there, I gotta like lift up fat folds. Nah, I'm good.
I disagreed, especially when I heard the statement. I don't think I'll ever look at somebody based on their situation and think that I'm disgusted. Like, if I see somebody that's a drug addict on the street that's homeless, I'm not disgusted by that. If I see somebody that's incredibly overweight, I'm not disgusted by that. Do I think that there's an opportunity for growth? Do I think they've been put in a disadvantageous position that's probably makes it harder for them? Absolutely. I think I'm empath, so when I see somebody, I know that there's things underlying. And one of my best friends is 400 plus pounds. I've helped him lose 150, 200 pounds. He's gained it back. And I don't look at him and say, I'm disgusted. I
Okay,
know
let me
how
be
bad he
nicer.
wants
Let me be a
it, and
nicer
just seeing
person.
how hard he tries and then reverts. It's almost more tough for me than to be like, oh, that's disgusting. And I think there's plenty of people that look at me and say, that's disgusting. I never want to look like that. So, like, I know what it feels like on the other side to, like, look the way I do and get people looking at me like, ugh, that's gross. So, like, have that muscle. And then to go back to that point, like, you came from a fit place and, like, deciding to bulk, like, that's a conscientious decision to gain weight. Like, you already have those
Yeah, he's clearly a roider.
in order to stay in shape, and then you use those same skills you had to pull back on the calories and knowledge you had.
The reason why I use that example is that you can get fat and lose the weight if you know what you're doing and you have the knowledge and everything else like that. It's just about consistency over time. So it's like, I look at it like,
let me cut you off because here's one thing that you just said.
yeah.
You have the tool.
So, you see my mouse? Hold on, let me see. Is my mouse visible? No, it's not. Okay, let me change that because I got to use a pointer here. All right, hold on. Capture cursor. And now it disappeared. Okay, hold on. There we go. You should be able to see it now. No, you can't. What the hell? Bro, okay, whatever. I don't know what's going on here. We got a green suit jacket with like girl necklace and like girl earrings, and I don't know what I'm looking at.
So there's people that don't have the tools that you've passed judgment on, and you have failed to realize that with the tools, people are very much capable of achieving amazing things. But
Okay, let's talk about sex.
no, hold on, I'm not done.
Why you cut me off?
I'm not done. And I stood over there and I listened to you, and I was like, it's a bullshit too. So we're gonna address this, right? You are passing judgment on people who lack the tools to do what it is that they need to do to get themselves to a certain point of health. There are multitudes of factors that
Well, what tools are they lacking? Okay, you can go to the supermarket. Like maybe he's trying to extrapolate to like, oh, well, someone has an eating disorder and they were born with it, but that's a very large minority of cases. All right, but basically all cases that are like that. I forgot how to speak English. Maybe I should get in here and get roasted, but what I'm trying to say is that those cases are the minority. Exceptions don't disprove rules. We have the tools necessary. You have Google. You have MyFitnessPal. You can read. Like, what is he talking about?
weighs into what goes on with somebody's body. There are people that even if they work out, losing the weight does not come as simple as just going to the gym, cutting calories, watching everything that you eat. There are some people that have a disposition. I have a disposition.
Okay, that is true. Some people, like me, I'm naturally heavier set. I was naturally heavier set, and then I changed. Because the thing is, when you start eating healthy and start taking care of the foods you eat, it becomes harder to gain weight, and also your metabolism changes. So now I'm like the level I'm at right now, like the body fat I am right now, to the point where I almost have a full set of abs, like so close. Like this little sliver of fat to take off my stomach, I have a full six pack. That's my natural state now. I'm trying to gain some weight now, but you can change it by the things you eat, or excuse me, by fasting. You can switch your metabolism, and you can also make it so the foods you eat are denser. Because a lot of people make the mistake of just eating a bunch of McDonald's, and yeah, it's easy to gain weight at that point. But if you're actually eating beef and rice and filling foods, it's hard to gain weight, actually. Like, bulking should be difficult, even if you have a disposition to be heavier.
But does that mean that I'm not active? Does that mean that I'm not doing certain things? No, it doesn't. But you're
And
constantly
there's no excuse to be that fat, okay? There's a range of acceptability. So, let's take this Asian dude, for example. This Asian dude's not big. He's very lean, though. So his physique still looks like this is like TikTok. He lifts his shirt up. He has a full set of like shredded abs. Like whoa, like the e-girls like it on TikTok. Like this is a acceptable range. This is probably his natural body fat. He can keep it really low. And meanwhile, let's take whatever. They're not here. I don't know. Let's take I don't know. Because all these people are like way too far on the other side. This is a range. Like this is the lower end of the range. Then you have like to the point where you can flex and you can still kind of see your abs. Like that's the higher end of the range. And when I say see your abs, I mean like a faint little outline. Once you get beyond that, that's not the acceptable range anymore.
judgment on somebody's
It's not
body
hard to get in
that
that
you
range.
know nothing about. Now, on the flip side, what if I turned around and I did the same thing to you? You're talking about how fit and stuff that you are, but you're over there and you're smallest compared to these other guys. So how is that
Well, they take steroids. It's a dumb argument.
feel if someone comes? No, because you said shame, right? You said shame, right?
But even
So
if
how does
we
that feel
even if we
someone comes up and they start
even if we
shaming
take
you
that
for
into
something?
account, there's an acceptable range, like I just said. Myron, even if we okay, get rid of steroids. Forget about steroids. Forget the two people, Greg Doucette and the big dude who's on steroids. There's an acceptable range. Myron falls within that range. These other people don't fall into the range. So what he's saying doesn't even apply.
It's like, come on, it goes both ways.
We're just in the first round. We've got to be careful about targeting each other too directly.
No, I mean, I'm not offended. It's fine. He's
No, it goes,
and that's fine.
in every direction.
He's obviously very triggered. Well, yeah. Let's hit the first part. Tools. What are the tools? The tools are simply knowledge, which you can get for free on the internet. If you have the ability and the discipline to go out there and get the knowledge, then you're going to lose weight. It's just that simple. It's just that people want to always make excuses for what? Oh, my feelings. Oh, I don't know. You don't know what people are going through. Blah, blah. No. You can watch your calories. You can go to the gym. You have time to do it. People just like to make excuses.
I don't think
That's
anyone's debating that weight loss isn't possible here. I think the question is, why do you hate fat people? That you feel the disgust towards them?
Well, hate and disgust are very different things.
Well, like I said before, it's a culmination of a bunch of bad decisions. I'm not going to go ahead and give the same level of respect to someone who's
That is
fat
true.
to someone that has worked really hard and diligently on their physique, because your body's outward
Yeah,
manifestations
There's more
are decisions
factors to a
your
human
consistency.
being than their body.
Well, you could judge a lot just off of someone's physique. You'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, this guy is lazy, and that's personified through their physique. It's the truth.
Dave, I saw you.
That's true.
Just to get back to the prompt, I think we just kind of
Yeah, it is true that there's more to a human than just being fat. Like, for example, Trump is fat, but we don't care because Trump is Trump. Oh, well, that's actually circular reasoning. We don't care. Okay? But you can judge a lot off just seeing if someone's fat.
Focusing on the word disgust.
just the word disgust. I mean, I would never look at someone and show disgust towards them. I mean, I think I would respect, like you said. I mean, you don't respect everyone.
This is like a Daimikyu voice. Y'all hear this? It's so high pitched. It's like a girl. So, all right, I want y'all to, because this guy is clearly. Look at his bracelet. Look at his bracelet. Look at the colors on it. I'm not gonna say the word because Twitch doesn't like it, but you know. So there's two of the four people on this side, the fat men side. That's the title of the video. Don't ban me. Are members of a certain community. Not surprised.
Like you said, but I think
Respect is earned.
I mean, it is earned, but I mean, I think at a humane level, we can learn to appreciate each other's differences.
Yeah, I don't know if like disgust would be the right word, right? Greg mentioned some health implications with being overweight or obese.
Yeah.
I think being concerned might be a better.
That's the word.
a better word.
Like, I can show concern for someone for the way that they are, but I would never look at someone and say, "You're disgusting."
But is it any different than if you see somebody who's extremely anorexic, they're 50 pounds, you look at them and you're in shock? Oh my god, like something happens in your body you can't control. You can't stop that. Like how can you not? I don't hate them. It's just wow, oh my god, it's disgusting. Like holy goodness
So
gracious.
why would you use the word disgusting, right? So you just mentioned the polar opposite of what we are, right? But why would you look at them and be disgusted versus concerned? That is a
You can be
very
both at the same
specific
time.
word, and it has very specific connotations behind it. And when it's
And there's very
used,
specific connotations behind you being fat.
it's somewhat weaponized as well.
I don't think we can help how we feel. I don't think I can choose like, oh, I just am not. We'd be sitting here and lying. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm always going to be honest with people. I'm disgusted. This is just how I feel.
The thing is, when you see a fat person, the reason why it's disgusting.
It's funny because when someone says, "Oh, well, I like dudes," I had to do that so I don't get clipped. And then people are like, "Oh, well, you can't control how you feel. Oh, it's okay." Then when you say, "Oh, well, I feel kind of disgusted when I look at a fat body," you're like, "Dude, what?" It's like, bro, come on.
And the reason
Which
why
one
there's
is it?
Pushback on this whole body positivity, people make fun of Lizzo, rightfully so, by the way, is because it's unattractive, it's unhealthy. Until we have this woke era, they used to put like models and attractive people on the cover of magazines that were in shape. Why? So people can aspire to look like that, and it's healthy and it looks better in general. When you look good, feel good. But when you're fat, it says a lot about you. People aren't going to sit there like, let's see if he's a good person. No, they're just going to assume that you're lazy, which you are when you're fat, and you have discipline, which you are. So they're just going to assume off of what they see. That's the one thing.
I love how you stated a ton of assumptions. You didn't state not one fact. You just stated assumptions.
I want to move on to the next part, but
I was about to go full nerd mode, like philosopher logic mode, but there's no point.
we're
Can
definitely.
I say one thing? Just one question. Like, let's say he used to be 600 pounds, and how much do you weigh now?
I'm pretty.
And he's now 34. Do you see him as less disgusting knowing he's lost 220 pounds?
No, that's fantastic.
I think yes.
There's still work to be done, but here's the thing, like I said before, unfortunately human beings judge a book by its cover, just the way
Yeah.
that we live. Fat people that, identify as 97 genders, whatever, they expect us to change our worldview for them, and that's just not how it works. Like, let's live that way, it's always going to be that way.
View. That's
It's just the way that we're like, people are gonna,
Yes.
Dude, I want to be on this show. Get me, the one viewer watching the stream, get me on Jubilee. This would be amazing.
Jack men are more attractive.
Okay, this is stupid, of course,
The
obviously.
agreeers, please step forward.
Watch. They're lying. Okay, this is how you know. Okay, this... Actually, you can't see mine. I was going to do a snipping tool thing, but you can't see it. I got to change the whole display. I'm not going to do that. But look at them. They're coping. They aren't actually happy about the way they are. And being jacked is a very broad term. Being jacked, to me, that just means having a good physique. So, like, oh, being fat is better than having a good physique within an acceptable range, as I said earlier. It's crazy.
All right, we're so
Coping.
we're living in a bizarre world where people don't see the truth. Like, how is it possible that they're thinking that being obese and unhealthy is more attractive than being fit and healthy? How is this possible?
actually, you know what? This is precisely why the majority of women find the majority of men is unattractive. Because a lot of guys think this way, oh, I just be a nice guy, girls are gonna like me. No, you're not. She doesn't expect to take the same velocity when you're fat. Because when you're
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I've never really been a big fan of Myron, but I like this Jubilee show. He's doing good. It's making me laugh.
people don't understand that women are aroused by one thing and they're attracted by another thing. Women are attracted to, a guy that's confident, ambitious, makes money, etc. Of course, right? But they're aroused by guys that have so tendencies, dark triad traits, etc. And guys that are physically in shape. So if you want to get the best of your woman, which she respects and admires you, while simultaneously being aroused by you, so she doesn't cheat on you, you need to have it all.
You're saying that's true for all women?
A majority, a staggering majority of women.
There might be 1% of the world that have there's something wrong with them that they think that yeah, you're 600 pounds is so hot, I love that.
The hot girls that you actually want, they exercise their hyperbole to the highest degree, and they want guys that are fit and have their money together, have their life together.
You're looking at me like you want to say something.
The question was, are Jackmen more attractive? We all walked over. Are we more attracted to Jackmen?
I'm assuming that you're referring to that because we're all guys here from they need women.
Well, men can be attracted to
If I had to choose
Oh wait, no, I didn't mean to do that.
I'm assuming that you're referring to that because we're all guys here from they need women.
Well, men can be attracted to
if I had to choose
Yeah, sure.
the Jack guy.
Obviously, this is going to be like personal biases, but I think attraction is very fluid in the sense that I can 100% admit, like, there was probably 40 pounds of muscle ago is when most women would be like attracting a girl. Of course, like fitness girls, they're totally okay with the size I am. But like probably most girls, I'm like too much for. So I guess like where do we draw that line? And like I think, for example, like you would be much more attractive to most women than me. Would you agree with that?
I mean, that doesn't mean that like if you walked up to a girl, and let's say you're not her, like you're a little bit more muscular than she would, like you have the charm and charisma, she would still go with you, man. It don't matter.
Look, I have an interesting point, and no shit on you, but I think if you had Zach right in your in,
Yeah.
if you put Zach and Greg and you put them next to each other and you did a poll, I think most women would probably pick him.
This is crazy. Yo, that's a wild stray.
What would you say to that?
No.
That's a wild stray, bro. That is
I'm
crazy.
40 years old. He's a lot younger than me. He's about a foot taller than me, but I can't compare. I'm an old man. I'm 40 years old.
Obviously, height is a big component. So that you know, so it's not you're comparing apples to oranges. But if you take the same guy, same height, etc., but one guy is fat, one guy's in good shape, she's always going to go with the guy that's in better shape.
Because I've been so surprised to see on Instagram, I'll be like guys doing like an outfit trial, I'm like not in shape in the slightest bit, and all the comments are women like, I wish like men knew this is how we wish they looked, and like, oh, this is like their dreams or life.
Myers for look good. One thing about you can never believe what women say. You're right.
Yes, yeah. And look at the moderator. Oh, we can't let him say this because we gotta push the feminist liberal agenda. Let him cook. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Myron, but let him cook. He's doing good here. Come on.
That's a different episode.
Yeah. I disagree mostly just with the blanket statement because attraction is so subjective. I am a big and tall model by trade. That's what I do. I model clothing brands. I've modeled with major fashion houses. I've been on the covers of magazines. And you mentioned before dad bod comments and whatnot on social media. I was flabbergasted when I started how many people were commenting.
I mean, I'm not surprised this guy was a model. I mean, he has the model facial structure.
saying DM.
And again, he's not as fat as these other people. Like, he's in the range to where, like, hey, bro, if you lost, like, 15 pounds, like, you'd be perfect. Like, perfect shape.
Talking about how attractive I was, that just kind of showed me that attraction is a lot more subjective than I thought, and people have a much wider range of what they find attractive than specifically a body type.
It's like there's a huge difference between this guy, because he fits an archetype a lot of women like, and then the other dudes that are on the panel with him. Like, he's an outlier on there.
Is being jacked the most important trait for being attractive? I'd argue for guys, it'd probably be otherwise, right? I think height would be very
Money, height, fame, like what can you bring to the
The
table?
number one thing is status. By far, status.
People also go after what they think they can get. So if this guy is 6'5" and extremely attractive, and it's like, well, I can't get that guy. I'm attracted to the 10 on 10 supermodel, but I'm not going to get her, so I'll be happy with the 9.9 on 10.
Just to be clear, are we speaking about women being attracted to men?
It's not just about women. It's just about attraction. What is most attractive, in your opinion, physique for a man?
Okay, I'm speaking from like what women find attractive. So when I speak, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
anybody.
sexually fluid. So my law of attraction does not adhere to anyone's standards, pretty much. I'm attracted to people.
And this is why every time I say law of attraction, I put it in quotes. Because look at the words. Like, they're using the same words as me. Like, I have to put it in quotes every time because I can't be associated with this. This is
You could
crazy.
be jacked, you could be plus size, you could be skinny, you could be whatever it is that you are. If I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you.
What are the traits you find most attractive?
The way that you carry yourself is a really big thing for me. I can't date someone who lacks confidence because I feel like that seeps into other aspects of your life.
Do you mind if I jump in on the confidence thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, growing up, wasn't too confident in myself. And I gained that confidence when I started losing weight. And I noticed it was me putting myself in positions to get more opportunities with women. Right now, I'm single right now, but I'm doing okay. But the confidence came from me losing weight. So I do agree that it's a subjective kind of standpoint, but socially, I understand that physically fit men, that's just like what everyone's like. It's not
I don't think it's as subjective as guys.
Then why? All right, Myron's gonna make a, based on what Myron just said, he's about to make a good point. But why didn't you sit down then? I was about to call him fat, but I feel like Twitch wouldn't like that too much. I'm already on the fine line here. Let me not push it any further. Why didn't you sit down then? Just said it.
Attraction isn't a choice, and there are hardwired traits that women look for in
Yeah.
men. And what I've come to realize is that what women put out there is what they find attractive or politically correct things. Oh, he's a dad bod. He's nice. He's a good guy. The reality is that women don't respond well in favor of.
And by the way, when women say dad bod, they're not really talking about like fat. It's different.
To these men, there's a reason why nice guys finish last is a thing. It's because
Actually, you want to see like a proper like when women say dad bod, this is what they mean. This is what they're talking about. Like this, but let me find a photo of him with just a little extra, like a little extra weight. Like, hold on. Here, this perfect. This is a perfect photo. This perfectly illustrates what I'm talking about. Like, this is a dad bod to girls. This, okay? And yeah, I would say this is like the optimal physique. Because you have to understand that when you go on Instagram, when you're on the internet, when people are super lean, they aren't that big, but they're really defined, so they look bigger on camera. But in person, they're not, like, this is like gonna be like 2 times the size of like some TikTok people who pulls up his shirts like, oh, look at my abs. Now, when he flexes, he will have abs, but relax, he doesn't have them. Like, this is the body fat percentage of a dad bod, not fat. Okay, it's a big difference.
and you kind of bend to her will, etc. Girls aren't aroused by that. Girls don't want to say what they're really aroused by. Guys that are able to stand up to them, guys that are able to tell them, well, that was a stupid comment, or hold them accountable for their stupidity when they do dumb things. This is what women find attractive.
Okay, alright. Myron's, like I said, Myron's doing a good job.
Because these are leadership traits.
Have any of those things happened to you?
Well, I mean, I've talked to almost 3,000 women, and what I've come to realize from talking to all of them is that most of the time, you know, when they're in a conversation on TikTok, like, you're so handsome, blah, 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 will they actually go on a date and have sex with that guy? Probably not. But they say that because it's politically correct, and women tend to not want to be adversarial. They're going to say what sounds good, but what they're actually aroused by are two different things.
But they're married to these guys.
Yeah, that was kind of my other
Most
getting
often
I'm
they're married to
married.
And marriage is a failed institution in the West, and this is why most men get divorced by women. This is why they get destroyed in the divorce courts. This is
Unfortunately, what he's saying is true. I'm still gonna get married, though. Maybe I'll get married in another country, but I'm a Christian. I don't really have a choice. And I'd say the one main criticism I have of Myron is this comment that you gotta sleep with like 30 or 40 girls before you get even think about being in a long-term relationship. That's completely incompatible with my worldview.
This is why women overwhelmingly initiated the divorce rates in America. 80% are initiated.
But it is true. I mean, getting married in America, if you aren't that guy, it's not a good idea.
Let's go back to attraction for a second though, because I'm married, I have a child, I have a beautiful wife. I was this size the entire process through.
Would you say that you're an average guy?
I would say that I'm bigger than average.
Yeah, for an average guy.
And a model for being slightly
I
overweight.
wasn't a model when I started.
But you are a very good looking
I was a
big
bartender.
guy.
Yeah, this guy's an outlier. What you're saying is right. It's different. Like there's a big difference between this dude in the green suit and this other dude. Like, one dude's obviously way more attractive than the other dude.
I think what you're missing is he just said that he wasn't any of those things.
He's not 5'6",
before
man.
he met his
How are you
wife.
5'6" and doing
I totally agree with you. Well, that's what I was gonna actually agree with Myron for a second. We're talking about, you mentioned status, and then a lot of people have mentioned confidence. So you even put in your own pecking order ahead of being jacked or being physically attractive. Would you say that matters more? Confidence, how you carry yourself?
I mean, the problem is simply, is it easier or you attract? What's more attractive?
That our society definitely finds Jack guys more attractive. But I disagree with the statement because it was a blanket statement that I have found untrue in my own life.
Do all of you feel like you'd be more or less attractive, let's say 50 pounds lighter than you are in simply like just body fat?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that I struggled with for a while is in me losing weight, am I still going to be able to book the jobs that I book? Because I've built an entire brand off of my body. I mean, granted, like, holy shit, like, I did something that's all my own. Like, I worked on that. But then I was also just like, if I lose this, are you still gonna want me to, like, do this campaign for
No.
you? Are you still gonna want
So
me-
being fat is your whole personality. Ah, man, that sucks. Or like, oh, well, he said his job. All right, being fat is your whole job. That's terrible.
in your magazine, are you still gonna want to dress me? And then I had to like take a step back and say like, well, what is it for me? Do I want to be skinny? No. Do I want to look like Greg? No. Do I want to look like Myron? No. But I know I want to look like me. I think talking about the law of attraction, you focus so heavy about what women would find attractive and the perspective of the woman. And I feel like, are you even attracted to yourself? When you look in that mirror, when you put your clothes on, are you like, damn, like, I did that? Because when I got up this morning and I threw on my outfit, I was just like, yeah, I ate that.
Well,
Again, this is why I quote the law of attraction when I say it, because I don't even know where to start with that.
If you're going to talk about being attractive, it's like typically people are speaking from a romantic sense, from a heterosexual standpoint of men and women. So that's why I answered the question because it was very broad. That's what I mean. But of course, you need to be able to look in the mirror and respect the man that you see looking back at you. When you look back and you see the guy you're in shape, etc., and you feel good about yourself, look good, feel good. A byproduct of that is that women just end up finding you more attractive. It all works together. It's in.
Are you happy with the way?
Of course, but I had to work to build this physique, and it took many years. I was an athlete in college, a divisional athlete. It took many years to be able to do this. So, I wrote in college.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I like it.
So I think when fat people look in the mirror and they say, "Oh, I like that," that's cope, man. No, you don't.
Cope.
They say that to
That's
try to
right.
bring themselves
It is
up. But
cope.
the reality is, most of the time when you're fat, you look in the mirror, you're like, "Damn, I really let myself go." Not in a mirror, like, you know what? It's not that much of a priority. So,
It didn't get to answer the question about Myron.
I was in the same boat as you, just because I feel like I don't agree with
Ew, I don't like listening to this guy. Like, please stop talking, because you know why. I'm not going to say because I'm going to get banned, but my ears don't like this.
Personally, for myself as a gay man, I find myself attractive. I would say like I go for.
And you know what? He didn't even say that when I first said he was a part of the community, but it's so obvious. You can't mistake it.
As, as well.
And you can also tell, like, even his cheeks are red, his voice, his hand motions. God.
I feel like I get a lot of hits on those types of guys, and I'm pretty content with how I navigate my attraction, and I think it goes a lot to the status and their confidence. So, I think so.
Stop talking, bro. I can't do this. Ah, dude. You guys look at me like, oh wow, this guy's so amazing. He has no fears and whatever. I probably shouldn't even be reacting to this video because what's one of the core rules of being powerful, of being a G. Don't reveal your weakness, and I'm revealing my weakness in this video because I'm not gonna elaborate. I don't want to get banned.
You can't ignore your health.
Okay, let's see this.
Listen. The body positivity movement is problematic.
Yes.
Will we agree or step forward?
Well, I think where it becomes a problem is obviously you should be comfortable in your body, and if you genuinely love how you look, great, but you can't ignore your health. Being someone who's overweight, I've been fortunate enough not to have any extreme complications other than knee pain and stuff like that. But I know people that
Also, probably can't see your penis.
that are my size or bigger, and they have cholesterol problems, heart problems, diabetes. I have none of that. So the body positivity movement becomes a problem when you hide behind the shield of, oh, I should love my body, da 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 da. Great, but you have to be healthy too. You can't ignore your vitals. You gotta check yourself from the inside.
Yeah, I think the big thing is you have to separate the health implications.
Dude, this guy looks like. Wait. Bro, there's someone I know from when I used to play Roblox hoops. He literally looks exactly like this guy. Exactly like
With
him.
you just being confident. Like I'm all for people to feel confident in their own skin. I think body positivity movement has been beneficial for plus size people in that regard, right? Because let's say there's a plus size person who's too embarrassed to go to the gym because they feel like they're gonna be judged, whatever it is. But
Well,
because of body positivity, they're like, oh, hey, like, I see other plus size people in the gym.
hmm,
Yeah, we gotta try.
I'll
And all
let
of a
it.
sudden
I'll
they
let
start
it go.
going, oh man, I like this, right? And you keep it going. You can argue
I was gonna get
that without body
pedantic, but
positivity, maybe that they would
sorry.
have for that person, right? But I think the problematic part really comes down to people extrapolate body positivity, shaming a celebrity like let's say Adele for losing weight, right? That's where I draw the line there.
Well, promoting Lizzo. Making fun of Adele for losing weight, but promoting Lizzo for being fat. Nice. A lot of people do.
I think the thing around Lizzo is
Yes. What? Yes. He asked that, like, you think a lot of people do that? You saw the way you saw the inflection he used when he asked that question. Obviously, they do.
it's not just the weight, it's the lifestyle. You like see her drinking all the time and partying and not sleeping. There's like so little to do with health. It's not just she's promoting like loving yourself, which I think is great. She's promoting a lifestyle that is unhealthy, like being very overweight, drinking, not sleeping. All of these things are not conducive to your health. So I think you conflate that, and sure, being body positive is important, like loving yourself, loving the way you look. But if that's going to lead, that's going to influence other people to make bad decisions about their body and their health, that's problematic.
Body positivity is disempowering people. It's making them think that they're healthy at any size, which they're not. And so as soon as you start telling people, hey, just love your body, like Lizzo will literally rub her belly and said, you're giving me all this power as she's eating a burger and she's promoting being obese. And by doing this, you're just ruining it for people who actually should.
I wonder, do you guys watch Greg Doucette? I watch him. I used to watch him a little bit. Now, like maybe one video a month. It's probably the rate I'm at right
Wait a
now.
minute, I can lose weight. I can go to the gym. I can eat less. I can do this.
Personally, my problem with body positivity.
He's very good at marketing. You learn a lot from him in terms of marketing. In the HVCM, I have a lesson about leeching. Greg Doucette's really good at that. It's like a master. You want to know if you've been in HVCM and you watched a lesson about leeching, watch more Greg Doucette. You're gonna learn.
Isn't necessarily
Perfectly how to do it.
And I feel like there's a misconception because there are those people that they use it to justify fatness and just I don't even want to say fatness. I want to make it very clear unhealthiness because there's someone like me who I wouldn't say I'm necessarily part of the body positive community anymore. Personally, I would say I champion body diversity because it's all encompassing, it's inclusive of what everybody, is doing within their journey. When I express the
Did he
desire
did he say like it's not about fatness, it's about unhealthiness? What's the difference? If you're fat, you're unhealthy. Now I was gonna say, oh, well, what about anorexic people? But obviously, we're just talking about fat people in this video.
another plus size individual that I used to be friends with was just like, well, I don't feel like I can share her content because I'm not sure how my followers are going to perceive this. I think it might be triggering for them and stuff like that. And my response to it was, well, if you're championing body positivity, then what I'm doing should not be a problem. Because the entire time that I've been advocating for people that look like me or people who have been othered in any capacity in general is that all bodies are good bodies. What we do with our body is what matters. And so body diversity is important to me because for a guy like you or a guy like the two of you might suffer from body dysmorphia. And that's a very real thing. You might not see yourself for what you really are. And so you're seeking unhealthy habits to achieve a goal. To get where you want to go, like you just gotta give it time. Be healthy in all aspects, like mentally, physically. You've gotta find the right avenue to do what it is that you need to do for yourself.
The body positive movement is a huge sign to keep us fatter and stupider. It's awesome. The reality is that
Alright, here we go.
and they understand that when you're fat, you have more
Yeah.
problems. They understand that you're going to need insulin, you're going to need medication, etc. And they make a bunch of money on us being sick. There is no incentive to actually have you be healthy. So let's go ahead and make our people fat as hell. Get them in the hospitals, get them medication, continue to make money, etc. It's all exciting.
So you believe it's all intentional?
yes, we promote mediocrity.
I feel like it's a subset. Yes, I'm sitting here because I do think that there is a part of it that is problematic. But I think that the problematic part of it is a subset of people that use it as a tool to weaponize whatever it is that they're doing.
I think the whole movement is a problem. The activity movement in general is a problem. All of it.
So you shouldn't feel positive even about your own. Like for you, for instance,
He said the body positivity movement. This is kind of like Black Lives Matter. You say, well, the Black Lives Matter movement was bad, and they're like, you don't think Black Lives Matter? And it's like, bro, that's obviously not what I'm talking about.
I think you haven't earned, here's the thing, being happy and content with yourself, it's not given, it's earned. You have to go out there, work, and then you're going to feel that satisfaction, like, I earned that. That's
So at what point do you earn it though?
when you can look back in the mirror and actually genuinely not coping, respect the man that you see before you. And the reality is, people are going to realize that you're going to need to achieve a certain physique, because you know all this stuff. People, oh, look at my body. Ooh, it's a lie. You're just coping. You're lying to yourself.
And you know, at that stage to where you start actually like, wow, about the good physique, that happens a lot sooner than you think. Like, and even with other people, like I've been getting compliments on my physique, even for like a year. And a year ago, I thought my physique looked terrible, and even now, it's not even close to the peak. People just think I'm jacked. It's cool. So literally, just start working out. Trust me. If you aren't working out now, just start. One of the best decisions you'll ever make in your life.
You just accept that.
Don't listen to these blogs.
I genuinely do love my
Right now, as you are.
Yeah.
The more you want
And
to
I'll explain to you.
the more you want to
I will explain it to you. I love everything that my body is capable of doing. I love the fact that at my size, I can do a lot of things that other people smaller than me still cannot do.
But you want to lose weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's good.
I want to lose weight because I love my body, but I have one body. Why would I not love it?
Yeah.
And because I love my
But you
body is
understand that
why
body
I'm
now needs to
looking to
change.
make changes.
Yeah.
Right? But to say that loving your body is BS, no, you make changes, you make healthy changes. to
That's not what he
yourself
said.
Because you love yourself. All of that
But this is
time,
kinda like a
the
potato
money,
potato
the
thing.
work, the money that I'm spending, that's a labor of love. Because I love myself enough to know that I want to make some changes to live a better lifestyle in the sense of I can just do a little bit more.
Alright, let's bring in our disagreeers.
So it's not a single problem.
Oh no, I'm not saying there's not a single problem. To me, body positivity is more about bodily autonomy. Like you were mentioning wanting to lose weight. My whole thing is like, yeah, it's your body. Do whatever you want with it. I don't think I, as a human being, have a right to tell any of you what to do with your bodies. Body positivity kind of comes in and go, okay.
But there's a transcendental standard. We break through the issue of this being a human reasoning argument. Epistemology. Your body's a temple. You know, I'm going to make a lecture soon about the body being a temple because I found some really... I've been learning about Freemasons, and there's some interesting parallels between Bible stories and your body and how it relates. I have to learn a bit more about it in order to teach you guys, but it's very interesting. I think there's a lot of useful stuff to
value. Just in fact, you are a conscious soul
apply
on
with
this
it.
planet. You have an inherent value. You are within a vessel of your body that you do have control over, but at the same time, you're not less valuable to society or from the standpoint of the soul for what your body looks like. When I'm speaking about body positivity, I'm talking about
It could be a reflection. So, if your body's a temple, because he's talking about soul, okay, he's brought this into a religious realm, unless he's like one of these atheists who believes in a soul, but how can a soul exist on atheism? Whatever. So, look at it from the Christian perspective. You're told to take care of your temple, and your soul... It is true that there is no such thing as a good person on Christianity, but your soul can be... There's positive and negative things you can do for your soul, right? And I guess your soul can be better or worse, but the better or worse will never take you out of being in salvation or outside of salvation. The only determining factor here is your faith in Christ. And then we get into faith and works and all other stuff, but within this realm, you being fat is a sign that you aren't taking care of your temple, which means it's sin, which detriments your soul. If you take care of your temple, that's a positive thing for your soul. So if we bring this to a soul realm, transcending the human body, we can find correlation to decide, well, yeah, one is more valuable than the other. One position is to be better to be in than the other.
Over acceptance and encouragement of being obese. So I personally, again, I'm not super online, have not seen anybody pro obesity ever. There's a bunch. She loves herself. There's a big no. There's a big difference.
Promoting obesity.
She's not telling anyone to get fat.
She's showing you exactly how to do it and saying, look at my body as I love and love it, it's giving me my life, and she's like joking around and
And also, I clarify. See, here's the thing. There's a bunch of fat influencers that pushes body positivity situation, and a bunch of them are dead. No one talks about that. That didn't hit mainstream news.
So I'm in that space.
Yeah, which influencers you talking about? I don't recall their names, but there's a couple of YouTubers. They used to do these mukbangs where they eat a bunch of food on camera.
They're not part of our.
It is the same thing. Same idea.
Thing. We're not saying we're gonna go to a restaurant and pig out just because it's entertaining or anything like that. There are people that they're called gamers, that their whole lifestyle, their fetish and things like that revolves around gaining weight.
Yeah, and I understand that you're saying that that's not a component to the body positivity movement, but you gotta understand for the general masses, they're watching that, they're gonna attribute it to that. They're not even they're not a creator, so they're not looking at it like, oh, this person is just a gluttonous person. No, they look at everyone who's obese that's making content about being obese and continuing that lifestyle in front of body
But they're
positivity
not
movement.
making content about being obese. They're making content about overeating,
Yes, and they
which is also
encourage
an
that.
eating disorder.
Yeah, and they also encourage being fat.
Which makes him obese. But I don't understand the disconnect here. It's like, okay, well, he overeats a lot, but that has nothing to do with him being obese. It's like, dummy.
Do you think just being in a fat body and being in public space encourages obesity, just flat out?
yes.
So just us existing, we're saying,
Yes.
yay, everyone go gain weight?
It absolutely impacts other people to think, well, hey, you're super good looking and modeling, but it's going to encourage other people to, well, hey, look at him, he's got
So then what about when I go to the gym? When I step into the gym, or when Zach steps into the gym, or when any of us step into the gym, are we promoting being bigger like that too? Are we going there and is our presence there unwanted?
It's a nuanced thing, I would say. If you're in the gym, you're promoting the opposite. But when you're just walking around, you're super fat. That ingrains in other people's minds. Remember, humans at the end of the day desire to be like everyone else because we have a tribal mindset. If everyone around you is fat, and if you're fat, then you're a part of it, right? You're a part of other people's reality. Then naturally, you're going to be more inclined to be fat. It's very simple.
I mean,
So, just being fat in general, yes, it does promote it in some regard. Maybe not as much as making YouTube just saying, hey, I'm fat, but it's more than zero, which is the question at hand.
famous, rich, popular, and being obese, you're indirectly promoting it in the same way that people who take steroids and are 350 pounds of muscle women in Mr. Olympia are indirectly promoting it even if they don't say they're taking it.
But I'm speaking more specifically in the gym, in that space where people should be coming together to work on their bodies and stuff like that. If you saw us in the gym,
I would be happy and proud and excited, and my whole channel is about helping people who are overweight to lose weight and have realistic expectations. I would never say you have to look like this, you need abs. It's just, let's go halfway there. That's my entire channel, of which I have over 2 million followers. It's all about realistic goals of helping people who are overweight to lose weight. That is what my channel is all about.
but we're in public, and you made the statement that if we step out in public, that it would encourage people to live an unhealthy
The
lifestyle.
more friends you have who are overweight, the more likely you're going to be overweight. It just happens to happen. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. If 90% of the world were overweight, more people would be encouraged to be overweight.
As
Yeah.
just on this side, I don't think any of us have ever looked at a person heavier than ourselves and gone, I want to be that. That's a great thing to be. No, we have the same internalized biases as everybody else does. He was bringing up the
Subconscious. One word. Is subconscious two or one word? I don't know. I don't care. But subconscious. Consciously obvious. This is the same thing as the people say, well, I'm gonna watch a bunch of stupid degenerate Twitch streamers. Unlike me, I'm obviously the best Twitch streamer in the world. But like I'm gonna watch like Neon and all this Aiden Ross and all this other stuff. And you know what? It's not gonna affect me because it's entertainment. It's just entertainment. What they don't realize is you have a subconscious mind. yeah, consciously, obviously you're not gonna say, oh, I want to be fat like that dude, but subconsciously, it's going to ingrain in your head. That's gonna influence your actions. Same reason why you shouldn't be watching degenerate streamers or YouTubers or whatever nerds you probably watch.
Gym before, and you said by existing, just in fact, you're promoting it. I model, and when I do model fitness wear, which I do often, I get so many comments about like, oh, you are promoting obesity. I'm wearing fitness wear. I'm in the gym. I'm doing the thing you want me to do, and I'm still promoting obesity.
If you're exercising and you're trying to lose weight and you're promoting people who are overweight to try to lose weight, that's great. But if you're Lizzo and rubbing your
I'm not
belly,
promoting. I mean, I don't know shit about it. It's typically about influencers that promote gluttonous, lethargic lifestyles, which a bunch of them do. That's what we're talking about. If you're in the gym and you're fat and you're getting after and you're documenting that, that's fantastic.
It's body positivity, and we're talking about influencers who promote gluttonous lifestyles.
Yeah.
And that, again, is not body positivity.
So that's why the general masses don't have that distinction, though.
I do think we have a good read though on how each individual sees the body positivity with it. All right, the next prompt is: I am satisfied.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it like this. All right, you can't see my mouse, but okay, you have the fat dudes. And you know what, the dude on roids, super roids, his thing might not work. I don't know. Depends how good he is at taking his substances. But on the right, the big dude, the big white dude, the big lumberjack looking dude, he probably does fine. The other three, they're gonna cope. Watch, they're all gonna cope and are gonna sit down. I'm gonna predict it. Let's see.
My sex life. Agree or step forward?
I knew it. I knew it. Admit I'm that guy.
Will the agree or step forward?
Okay, the dudes on steroids should say they have.
I'll start with saying I've abused my body many times.
Myron says that's interesting. Let's see.
Being
Or maybe he's talking about in the past tense. Let's see.
bodybuilder, professional
Well, these people
bodybuilder,
take
I've
steroids,
used
obviously.
over 10 years.
Then these other people
I
are
don't
fat,
think you get to the
obviously.
level that you have to get to be a professional bodybuilder while being natural. And so, absolutely, and I would say that somebody trying to abuse steroids to get that muscle, to get that look, is just as unhealthy as somebody who's obese. So I don't try to be a hypocrite. I say I've done these poor choices. I'm 48 now. I don't do steroids anymore, and so I recognize that what I did in the past was bad. Probably took years off my life, and so I would say to people who are overweight, why don't you do the same thing? And if you're not, then do you really care about your health? Because if you do, you would stop doing the things that are leading to being morbidly obese.
Living to your own argument, you spent 10 years doing something you knew was inherently unhealthy.
Correct.
But then you're going to turn around and tell people that they should just wake up.
Yes, exactly. Like people should have told me, Greg, why do you keep doing this to yourself? You do not recognize what's going to happen, and if we call it shaming. Why are you using steroids, Greg? Think of it. Think of the years you're taking off your life, maybe out of the weight.
But the power was in your own awakening, right? The power right there was in your own awakening to realize within yourself that you were doing something negative, and then you made a change for it, right? And that change is now consistent. That change is now something that you can give a testimony about and help other people change their ways or persuade people to just not do it at all, right?
But building on what you said, what was the moment, where the perspective shift?
Well, I got old enough and realized I can't get any better at this. I can keep taking more and more drugs and try to sustain this, but I said it's not worth it anymore. So I had to completely change my mind around what I was doing, which was being judged on my appearance. And remember, I make money on how I look, and so that's going to have a huge impact on me. And I have to say, I need to get my dopamine, my self-worth from something else. So I quit doing all the bodybuilding competitions, and I said, I'm going to start riding bikes. I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to do something else where I can feel good about myself. And it's hard. Like, look at this guy, 300 pounds of muscle. 20 years from now, is he going to want to still be this size? He might look back and say, I maybe regret certain things. And I think if somebody's overweight, they're going to think the same things. Like, if you're 400, 500, 600 pounds, you're going to think this, is it worth doing this? Is it worth eating all the time? It's tough.
I think this is the first actual middle ground I think we're finding, which is really great because it's true. I mean, I've been harmful to myself on both sides of the spectrum. There are times I was taking, 20 to 30 diet pills and laxatives a day, eating less than 400 calories a day, working out nonstop. And then there's the other times where I was eating way too much, smoking way too much, drinking way too much, and using my body in the other way. I think we all come to the realization of what we're doing is harmful in different ways at different times. Like, it took you 10 years to come up to realize that was harmful. My thing is sometimes it takes people who might be overweight or at that high tier, that 5
Not much to
6
comment on at this section, to be honest. Let it roll for now, at least.
feel like it's harmful, and they are happy. There are people who are not legitimately happy in certain
Ignorance is bliss. Like, I mean, I was happy at the moment. I
But
thought
why
it
is there
was.
bliss?
Ignorance is bliss, but you could die before you wake up. You could die before that happens.
steroids.
Exactly. I could have died doing what I did. And so
Wait, did he say the same thing could have happened when you take if you were zero? It's kind of like saying, well, you're gonna die if you jump off that cliff. You're like, well, I could have died anyways if I was in a car and I got in a car accident, and that can happen too. It's like, bro, it's obviously different.
is it not my responsibility to tell people, don't copy me into it and not be somebody who's,
I don't think there's anything wrong with
to
that.
do the same thing?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Even when you said before, you're like, well, I wish someone had shamed me, saying, what are you going to do? You're going to kill yourself. That's not shaming to me. To me, that is compassionate and looking out for somebody. It's when you take it to the other level where you start insulting them, degrading them, making them feel
Fatty.
As men, we insult each other and shame each other, but it's as a friend. Like, this is what guys do. Girls don't do it. They all suck up to each other. And they're all tens. Guys are like, look at your gut. Look at your gut.
It's important to
I'm telling you what they do.
It's masculine from the feminine because it's guys talking here, and I think it's important to distinguish when something is feminine to say, well, we don't adhere to them.
Yeah, but there's been no shortage of generalizations on women in this episode so far, and I'm really, really curious about your answer to this prompt regarding self
And the women, you're talking too much about women. This is so misogynistic. Please stop. Please stop. Oh my god.
abuse, like bodily abuse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lifetime natural. I've never taken a drug before in my life. However, I was an athlete in college, and obviously when you're a Division athlete, you're training two to three times a day. It was very, very intensive. I was training through injuries, which wasn't intelligent, but at the end of the day, I looked at it like, hey, we got to win. We got, some teams to beat this season, so it builds a mental fortitude. I think abuse is good to a degree if you're able to overcome it and learn something from it.
I did a lot of stupid things. Like I broke the world record in the bench press, and now I can't bench press anymore. And it was my favorite lift. I've had hip operations. I have both elbows reconstructed. I trained too hard. I couldn't stop myself. All that pressure, desire, whether it was installed by myself or from others, to try to fit in, to be socially accepted. And I was addicted. I was bench pressing with shoulder pain. I should stop. I couldn't. And so, I set the record and it's done. I can't even lift anymore. I don't squat, bench, or deadlift. Because look at Ronnie Coleman. You guys know Ronnie Coleman? He's in a wheelchair. He can hardly walk. He's in pain medications. And imagine putting your body through all that torture, and then you get in your 60 and now you can't do anything.
So one question I have for you then is, knowing what you did, obviously has allowed you to create this platform to speak to these things, to talk about steroid abuse. You understand all the intricacies. Do you think that you would have been able to do that, let's say if you'd kept your natural status throughout your whole career, you didn't break world records, you weren't an IFBB pro, you didn't have all of those accolades to stand on, do you think you would still be Greg Doucette and have all the following you do?
I do not think so. I think I'm one of those 1 in a million cases that was able to do what I do and actually got the success that I got. But if I look back and I'm really honest with myself, I regret doing these things. I was natural world champion and I was breaking world records natural, so I had the records, but I wanted more. I wanted more glory. I wanted more people to say, you're cool, we like you. And so I ended up taking steroids. I did that because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be sponsored. I wanted a pro card. I wanted to be famous. And it worked. And what cost though? How healthy am I really?
Everything it is that you're saying, right? I don't feel any ounce of shaming you for it. I think everything that you said is really important to acknowledge that and to know that and to then share that, right? But the difference is that had someone shamed you, I don't think that you'd feel the same way about it. Instead, people poured life into you and told you hey, I don't think that this is right. I don't think that you should really keep doing this because it's doing
The opposite happened. I was rewarded. When I started getting popular on social media, I was talking about my steroid cycles, I was talking about what I've done, and they're like, look at your muscles, look at your chest, and it was like, do you know how hard it was to stop? Because I was being rewarded with dopamine, with people saying nice things about me all the time. And for me to stop, I know that my views on social media go down. If I went on a steroid cycle right now, people are going to fall, wow, Coach Greg, you're back. We miss the old Coach Greg. And so it's hard for me to be the 48-year-old old man that's still preaching fitness when they say we love the old Coach Greg, the jack muscle freak, and I have to fight the urges not to use steroids every single day.
I hope the
'Cause
next
I
prompt
know
is more
I'll
interesting.
always feel better, but I'm like, it's not healthy, and so I have to say no.
I get what you
Very
mean
tough.
about the dopamine reward thing. Because for me, I have a similar situation, but kind of in the opposite way. Every time I start slimming down, I start getting the "What are you doing? Why are you losing weight?" Because I am in that large guy space. So it's like it's very funny how much on both sides outward opinions just like really just make what we do hard. I know that when I am doing more cardio, I'm like a big hiker and biker, and sometimes in the summer I'll slim down, but then all of a sudden I'll get a ton of comments from people just being like, "We liked you heavier, we liked you this." I'll have clients that'll stop using me because I've gotten too small. And so you're kind of seeking that dopamine, that approval, but also that career boost. You get stuck in this loop of doing things that you know aren't good for yourself.
I wanted to hear from you. Just go back to the prompt why you came forward.
Oh, I mean,
When they take
I
steroids.
think obviously professional bodybuilding has its risks. Obviously, I try to mitigate them as much as possible. I work with a company that do blood work, quarterly, every 3 months. I am very methodical with what I do, and I'm very on the mild side. You would be surprised, but I've been training for 20 plus years. I think that's the key for me. I would say, like being this size, 100% not healthy. Is it unfortunate that I am very passionate about something that is bodybuilding? Yeah, it's kind of like I fell into it. I love it. It's hard for me, but I made a decision with my wife that at age 35, that's it. I'm done. Like no more competitive bodybuilding. I have an understanding, but like Greg, I have the foresight to know like there has to be a limit to it. Because if you just let it go, I would have to be probably 25 more pounds of muscle and like have to do things that I'm not willing to do in order to be like, let's say Mr. Olympia, right? So throughout all the way through my 20s, I was close to like 230 pounds, natural all the way until I was like 27 and a half. So hopefully I'll be okay going back to that size.
Do you use steroids currently?
I mean, I use.
Well, I think that's the biggest insult in the world right now.
I only ask because, again, we're on the topic of body abuse.
Wait, did he ask if he uses?
I only
Well, I think that's
use steroids currently.
So hopefully I'll be okay going back to that size.
Do you use steroids currently?
Yeah, obviously, bro. What? I didn't hear him the first time. I was like, wait, no way he asked that.
I mean, I use.
Like, look at his face.
that's the biggest insult in the world right now.
I only ask because, again, we're on the topic of body abuse, right? So I'm only asking that in that realm because of what you said about it. I'm not asking that.
Oh, don't be offended, please. Don't be offended.
Steroids, like you think you can look like this natural? Like if I said, "Hey, are you on steroids because of that body?" Like I said, "You look like you're on steroids."
People think I'm here.
If I said, "Obviously you're natural," they'd be like, "What the? What do you mean? Obviously, obviously."
It's literally just like the question I have, but it's also
You're
just like,
dumb.
well, what do you do as you're progressing in that to get to the points that you want? So that's where that question is. And I also really appreciate the candor for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I will 100% say like.
Oh, I'm 100% natural. It's like Michael Hearn. It's like, obviously not natural. And I'm someone, I believe natural physiques can go really high, but like, bro, that's obviously roids.
Some of the best shape of my life was natural in my 20s, like very lean, probably my healthiest. Like if anybody tells you they're like an IFBB professional bodybuilder, it's almost 99% of them are in some capacity against. It might be very minimally, it might be through the roof, like you wouldn't even believe what they're taking, but it's there. It's part of the sport. It's unfortunate, but like that's the problem. It's one of the problems we talked about earlier. The fitness industry is like that's the expectation.
Let's agree or disagree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I took abuse as like doing things that's negative for your health, and for me, I always approach fitness from a health kind of lens, right? Like Myron, I'm 100% natural. I'm never gonna look like Eric, I'm never gonna look like Craig, but it's something I'm content with. Right? For me, I'm kind of in for long term. I want to be able to do what I do. I'm 60, 70, 80, 100. Focusing more on the health aspect of it can be a good goal. Because I feel like if you're looking from the outside in, sometimes it can be like, dude, how am I gonna look like Eric? Like, how is this ever gonna happen? Right? But people have different goals, I would say, within fitness, and
I think it's important to also acknowledge that like there's abuse on both spectrums, right? Like you can be a fat ass on one end.
Oh, there we go, bro. It was getting a bit boring, but there we. I feel like you just said that to spice it up because that was completely unnecessary. There was no reason to say that, but he just said it, and it's funny, and I appreciate that. I would have said that too. Well, I don't swear. I would have said something else like being some fat bastard. I would have said that, like being some fat bastard. It's funnier too, I think.
Cheeseburgers and then
Jeez.
other side where you can, use performance enhancing drugs and send them to step on stage. But I would make the argument that the person that is training using PEDs, etc., I respect that individual more than the fat ass. And the reason why is though it isn't healthy to be on performance enhancing drugs, you're still pushing your body to a level more.
Dude, how are these people not dying? I don't know. I think this thing is my sense of humor is like insult humor, like Gordon Ramsay, Trump. Like this is the type of humor I like.
Versus just being fat and taking skill and dedication. So
If a fat person is doing something like maybe they're into quantum physics, maybe they're changing the way we view.
There's nothing to do with being fat.
They're not valuable because they're not shredded.
well, again, we're talking about the purpose of abusing your body. I have more respect for the bodybuilders. Well, okay, and I think society put in work as well. Which is why bodybuilders that like a Ronnie Coleman, etc. Though he is disabled now, etc. He's a legend and he's going to go down in history.
Yeah, but I actually thought that was a good question. Like what a great film director who's like very overweight and like just totally poured into their craft. Like is there respect for someone like that?
Well, that's great because he's able to do something exceptional, right? He's able to diversify himself from the general masses, right? But will people know that?
There's different types of respect. Like just respecting someone as a man, it's like, dude, I don't care if you're a film director, for some fat dude. Like unless you're like Trump or something like that, it's like, bro. In fact, speaking of Trump, the hat's still on the table. Sure, where's the rest of the stream? I'm gonna flip a pen. No.
And they mean that he's a famous director on the sea very common. But yeah, there's exceptional people that are fat in certain regards. But we're talking about bodybuilders here. I'm just saying in general, I would have far more respect for the professional bodybuilder than
Peter Jackson.
versus
Multiple award-winning films. Lord of the Rings.
I don't even know who that is.
But some guy like taking PEDs is
sorry.
Sorry, I'm legitimately curious.
Yeah.
You have guy using PEDs on one side trying to do stuff, and then you do have like Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings,
That's why I was very explicit to say I'm talking about the fat influencers.
Yeah.
So like I'm talking in that context. Like if
Yeah, it's talking about the body, it's not about the other stuff.
Like one extreme is a bodybuilder, the other is a fat influencer. I think me and most of society would have far more respect for the bodybuilders.
I understand that, but I also think that like if someone's abusing themselves in any way, there should be some empathy and like rather than just being like you're a better abuser to yourself than that person.
Fitness culture can be toxic.
Yeah.
Career step forward. Did we all learn again?
Is it from the jackass?
100%. I think there's.
Is this good? I don't know how interesting this one's gonna be.
That are so unhealthy. Like there's so many images.
Man, it lasted for a while. Maybe something interesting happens.
Best
Hopefully.
lighting, with a pump, that is the societal norm of like what's good, and it even like affects me because I'll see people and I'm like, oh, I look like garbage compared to that. I think that right now it's like there's a lot of misinformation online when it comes to like how to get fit, how to stay in shape, and a lot of people are monetizing it. These like crazy fad diets, like you can't eat certain things, carbs are bad, fruit has sugar in it, so it's gonna make you fat. So like now food is almost being weaponized, and then it's being monetized so that you buy their ebook to tell you the exact secret, code in order to lose weight. So fitness is an industry, right? So people are incentivized.
It's funny because Greg Doucette is
whatever
there.
it is to make money. And so it's been harder for me as a coach that takes a more holistic approach to wellness and fitness and saying, hey, it's all about balance, and like Greg's the same way. I know I watch a lot of his videos. That is the correct approach to like making.
Yeah, there's the
that's
damn
not
moth
super
again.
restrictive.
Great.
So I think that's why the fitness industry, even being part of it, like it's frustrating because there's so much misinformation.
I would say also that there's so much pressure to look like us and it's causing people to develop body dysmorphia. So this is a huge problem. So when you swipe on Instagram, you're showing the top 1% of the top 1%. They all have a six-pack abdominals. Everyone feels inferior. There's pressure, and that causes a whole host of problems: eating disorders, people feeling like shit. They don't like the way they look in the mirror. And then they keep looking for information, and then what information they're getting, half of it's wrong, like we were just describing. And so where do we go from there? There's no solution.
I think the issue comes from the misinformation, just the lack of keeping things simple. But we like to have bad diets, go paleo, go vegan, go whatever it may be, and it's like the reality is the best diet is the one that you can adhere to. And I think we need to let people understand that fitness is a lot more sustainable and easier than people think it is, which is why I make fun of fat people so much because.
But yeah, no, he's right. It's really not that complicated. I just don't be an idiot.
It really is simple, and it comes down to numbers and tracking your calories and being disciplined and going to the gym. This is why I have no sympathy for fat people, because it really is simple.
But that right there is what keeps guys like us out of getting into fitness.
Shouldn't we do the opposite though?
No one's being told they're a piece of shit.
I mean, that's how it worked for me. I was like, dude, I looked in the mirror, and the photo is literally on my YouTube channel. The photo I took was like, all right, I'm changing my life now. You know, if I never took that photo, I probably wouldn't be here right now. But I looked at myself like, dude, you're fat. You're a fat loser. Things got to change. I wish people around me saying that, like, dude, you're fat. Get in the gym, fatty. Fat
So
son.
it's like shaming rarely works, and I'll bring this back to somebody I follow, and I appreciate their content. It's a guy named Alex Ramosi, and he does a value equation, and on the top side of that equation, you have the perceived value of whatever you're trying to achieve plus the perceived chance of success. So how likely are you to achieve said result? And on the bottom side of the equation, you divide by time, and you divide by effort. Shaming doesn't work because the value equation is driven by those things. So what I think we need to do on this side of the table is to make those things more accessible, like you said, providing more value-driven information of like how to achieve a calorie deficit in a more sustainable way. How do you make it so it's not so much time? Because so many people waste time, let's say, doing so much excess cardio where strength training should be the main component. So like that's why I think adding value and decreasing time and decreasing the amount of effort is going to give you guys so much more emphasis or ability to achieve the result and more motivation to achieve.
I do both.
Than being like, oh, you're fat. What the fuck? So that's just my.
The fitness industry overcomplicates it so that they can monetize it. So they're about the secret sauce. Well, this is why it's important to acquire knowledge and be able to, whether you go ahead and do your own research and again,
It is their fault. Yeah, the information's overcomplicated, but you can still find the information. The information still exists. You just have to be smart and be able to just go through the weeds and look through. Because in general, if you are good at doing research, which is a skill I developed, you're going to be able to just smell the BS. Like, even if I go into industries and niches I know nothing about, I can tell what's reliable and what's not. It's an experience.
Do your research. Look at the studies. There's so much fitness studies out there. There's no secrets. It's just discipline and sustainability.
Have you guys ever been confused about how to get insane shape based on the information that's out there?
Totally. I would never ever take advice from me to get that advice or to gain that knowledge because of whatever this disposition is that you have going on. Right?
What's a disposition?
Can you describe it?
I wouldn't even enable it toxic, but I think it's like you have this perspective about the world around you that I think is kind of really warped, and I don't understand why, and I would like to understand why, and I'm not getting it because you're like, shame is the answer and stuff like that, but it's not though.
What?
It's why you have so much conflict. It's why we're literally sitting here today having this discussion.
What do you mean? The conflict is at an all-time low. We have the most tolerance we've ever had, and this is very present when you look at sexual relationships. We have the most tolerance ever, and we have the most degeneracy ever. And now you guys talk about, oh, this is why we have so much conflict. No, we don't. We have the opposite, bro. You think they were having debates about? Well, I know there were some societies where being fat was like a good thing, but let's look at like promiscuity, right? Is promiscuity in women bad? Yes or no? Before, when people were intolerant, they would be like, obviously it's bad. Get out of here. We're not even going to debate about it. Get out of here. You aren't a virgin at your marriage. Stoned. But seriously, that's how it was. It was shamed. Therefore, there were more virgins, which created happier marriages. We talk about pair bonding and coming together in one flesh, etc. But now we have all this tolerance. And look, I think the average now is like a girl on average has like 4 or 5 bodies by 18. That's terrible.
So here's the thing: you operate on what's ideal. I operate on what's real. And the reality is that the world is a much older and harder place than you think it is. But you want to, people to just understand you, see your perspective, and see you as how you see yourself. The reality is the world's never going to see you how you see yourself. They're going to see you on how you display yourself to them. And when you are fat, out of shape, etc., the people, if they don't get to know you and talk to you and have a conversation with you, they're going to assume certain things. That's just the world that we live in.
Just to dig a little deeper into that, has something happened to you to confirm that observation?
No, I mean, I just live in objective reality, and objective reality isn't as nice as you think it is.
So you're not drawing from a personal experience.
I'm speaking fairly objectively that these are the conversations that people have behind closed doors, but they don't want to say out loud because for fear of cancellation, for fear of coming off as an asshole, etc. I'm just saying how people really feel, but they're scared to say it.
Coming from whether the fitness space can be toxic or not, the shame attitude has kept a lot of people out of it. I've been doing fad diets since I was 12 years old. I was put on Weight Watchers. I did Atkins. I did paleo. I did everything you could possibly imagine. And not until I started following other influencers that were more proactive based on I want to be around for my daughter for as long as I possibly can be. I want to give my body the function it needs. Like, just that basic mind shift, hey, your life can get a lot better if you do kind of focus on your health a little more. Instead of, you're a fat piece of shit, you need to change. To me, I don't
You can do both, bro.
Industry,
I don't think it's very useful just as, in this regard specifically. In other regards, it's useful, but in this regard, I don't think it's useful to solely just say, oh, look at this fat bastard, fat, you're fat, you're fat. But you could say, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. This is how you not be fat. You're also fat, fatty, fatty, fatty. This is how you get into calorie deficit, fatty, better listen. Like, that's what I do. I think that's optimal for this specific topic.
My relationship with fitness when I started realizing that it was a gross benefit instead of a punishment I had put onto myself for not being disciplined enough. For people like,
thank God this Abe guy isn't talking much. Like, please, keep it the way it is.
Destroying my life, so you will
Watch him start talking.
Well, going to the gym and training is going to destroy your life.
I don't think it's advanced anything I'm saying. But yeah, I do that. I'm saying it wasn't until someone told me about those enhancements and kind of approached it with more than an empathetic way of being that it seems attractive to me at all to be a part of it.
Does anyone here respond positively to shame?
Mm-hmm.
I think in some ways, I feel like a lot of us can have this. Like when we were younger, I wouldn't say it was shame, but I wasn't necessarily like happy with the way I looked, and that kind of motivated me to get into fitness in the first place. And we're talking this was like in high school, so I think to some degree, shame that's not put on by others can be helpful, right? It has to be something within yourself that can motivate you.
I'll speak on the shame thing too, because the shame that I guess embodied came from myself. So when I was on my weight loss journey and I was like losing weight, the day that I weigh in and like the scale went 1 pound over, like I would take those pills that make you shit, literally to like lose that extra pound to see. Like, so going back to the toxic situation, that's where I got fucked up, because I would do things in response to me not getting that positive stimulus to hurt myself. Do I have therapy now? Yep. Because it's like this.
I think shame is good. I think it's a very natural response to inadequacy, and it tells people that, hey, maybe I need to change. Like being bullied as a man, being shamed, it's a good thing because it stimulates you to change and make a better difference.
But some people don't respond. Like some people, when they get shamed, they get shut down, and now they proceed further into that negative.
I don't have anything to illustrate the example, but like, it's like this versus this. This. If you know, you know. But yeah, this has to do with hormones and whatever. Not gonna go on a whole TED talk about it.
It's not something as Zach and everybody else is mentioning, that's what's positive
Well,
to
that's
fix that.
that's a part of the masculine journey is overcoming it.
It's not a talking of masculinity.
It is.
And being like, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Because your hormonal profile, because, okay, I guess I'm going to go into it now because he brought it up. This fat dude pissed me off a little bit. 0.001%. Pissed me off for the camera so I can say something funny and educate you guys. Testosterone makes you more disagreeable. If you are low testosterone, high estrogen, someone says, hey, you're fat, and you're like, oh, really? Well, meanwhile, if you're actually a man, and it's more than just your body composition that affects your testosterone, it's also your mindset. A fat dude can have a masculine mindset driven by hormones, although his hormonal profile would be damaged by his fatness. A masculine man here is like, oh, well, you're fat. Like, I'll bet. Really? Watch. That is if they're actually fat. I'm like, alright, watch. I'm about to prove you wrong.
And this is the thing, it makes or breaks you. Not everyone's gonna win. We need winners and we need losers. The losers, the ones that shut down, like, oh, I'm sad now. I'm gonna continue eating ice cream. Okay, you're fine.
True. Based.
I'm gonna challenge, so you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fucking experience it.
How are people not laughing at this, bro? Oh,
God,
God.
I can't understand where you use that as fuel. It's up to you. Is that the goal of the fitness industry to get people more fit? Of course, the blanket goal. Of course. And we're saying shame and calling me a piece of shit doesn't motivate me to get more fit. Well, we need winners and losers. No. We need winners and losers. The industry, there's going to be there's going to be losers. If you don't respond favorably to shame and bullying, etc., and you don't overcome it, you're effectively a loser.
Let's be clear though, you just said the right word. Fitness industry it is an industry that's to make money. It's not necessarily to get people in the shape, it's to make money. So sure, there's gonna be junctions along the way. Like I'm a coach, there has to be tough love. Like if you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing, I have to be a little bit harder on you. But that's not gonna start your journey. Me being like, you're a fat piece of shit. Whereas like if you get into it and we're 3 months in and you're not making progress because there's a lot of things you're not doing that we're coaching you on, then of course there's gonna be some tough love, there's gonna be some extra accountability. But I think there's a difference between accountability and tough love than just like shaming somebody into doing something, because that's not gonna create that like long-term ability to obviously achieve it on their own.
Myron would prefer. You would prefer.
Shaming is a component to get people to be accountable.
I just want to know when shame motivated you to be better.
Me personally? I mean, I'm speaking in general here. As far as like
don't
shame
speak
working,
general.
but
Speak for yourself. Personally.
No, I spoke for myself. I shamed myself.
Here's the thing. I think every man growing up has been shamed to some degree where they're like, you know what, I need to improve this. Whether they grew up skinny. Well, yeah, I mean, I was skinny, right? And then I got picked on. And I was like, okay, I'm either going to let this define me or I'm going to overcome. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the gym and start training.
But does it work in any other interpersonal relationship? Like, have your parents ever shamed you, come down on you, made you feel like shit?
Absolutely.
Did you deserve all of it, 100% of it?
Absolutely, shame me. I think that's fantastic. And I think that's a part of your parents' job is to shame you for your fuck ups.
What about people in abusive relationships with abusive parents who are now?
Okay, well, there's a difference between, like, there's a massive conflation going on. Like, we're not talking, it's kind of like disciplining a child, right? Like, oh, you can't discipline your child, that's so bad. It's like, bro, I got disciplined as a kid, that's why I behave around my parents. Okay, that's why I ended up being some punk. You're like, oh, that was bad. Well, your parents abuse you. It's like, hold on, there's a big difference between discipline and abuse. We're talking about different things.
No contact situations or anything like that. Not me. I love them folks. They're great. Just for the TV record. Yeah. In case they watch it, like. But I know a lot of people. There are like no. There's so that's all I'm saying is in the industry, in the fitness world, I would rather be with someone who's trying to uplift me, trying to get me to improve, hold me accountable. Tough love, absolutely. I think it's important. There's a total difference between tough love and shame.
Shame is a component of tough love.
Shame is only done with the intent to hurt somebody. Well, tough love.
Wait, we gotta reset. I would not like to be on the other side. That's true for you. Come forward.
Don't tell me all the fat people.
When I was in high school, it'd be your graduation
This
photos.
is
And they had a saying, and my
Very
saying was,
interesting how they didn't
my
come to
worst
sit.
nightmare would be if I gained 10 pounds of fat. Literally, grade 12, I remember it clear as day. I was already a competitive bodybuilder, and so to imagine being 100 or 200 pounds overweight when I started my whole life to look kind of like this, and I just couldn't imagine it would be a nightmare for me.
Figure from like a health perspective, like being overweight or obese puts you at a higher risk of developing chronic illnesses. And I think I would not be in that position. And if I was in that position, I would do what I can in order to get to a healthier.
Okay, so I just want to make sure everyone gets to say their piece before I go. I mean, yeah, it's completely next level to be fat as a man.
Let's go. Okay, Myron. On Myron, I was at like, to be honest, bro, out of like 100%, I was probably at like 5%. Wasn't a big fan, and I like a lot of these other guys, but we're just disconnected. Let me check. Test. Okay, I'm good. How is that? I don't know if you can hear it, but something's disconnecting. But now he gets a few points. Good job, Myron.
Exactly.
This is good.
So many problems with it. I've been fat, I've been skinny, and I've been in shape, and I will pick being in shape every single time. Just like if you have someone that's rich or someone that's poor, they will pick being rich every single time. And the thing is that most fat people, not all, but most, have never even seen their abs, they've never seen what their body is capable of, they've never been actually happy with their physique. And once you get that taste, you're never going to want to go back. And then on top of that, you're going to want to go back and tell all those fat because that you're once skinny, you're in good shape. This is awesome. But the reality is we live in this crazy world where we call fat people, we call idiots, we call morons, and we don't hold anybody accountable. We allow mediocrity to strive in the West. And I think we need to go back to shaming fat people. We need to go back to making fun of them. Hell, that's where all the fat concentration camps. So they
Oh my god. Fat concentration camps. This guy's good. Well, I'm not gonna say that guy's name because I'm gonna be forced to talk about how a lot of people lie about him. But by saying that, you probably know who I'm talking about. But bro, fat concentration. We gotta.
Hell, I put all in the fat concentration camps. We can concentrate on dieting and exercising because being fat is completely not acceptable. I have these people back in shape because people don't also understand that.
How do you not die laughing at that, bro? How do you not die laughing at that? I need to know. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
People won't bring that big burden on the healthcare system. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, etc. It's a big problem.
Do you really mean that, or are you just saying that?
Yeah. How would you get rid of the obesity problem like that? I find it interesting that they can lock us up in their homes for almost 2 years, say wear a mask, etc. And then I say, I'm going to lock these dudes up in a concentration camp where we're going to get them healthy food, we're going to get them exercising, and I'm looked at as crazy.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I guess there's a distinction between having opinions about how COVID was handled and
Oh, I can't talk about it, but he loves this. Please take away my rights. Please put it over my face. I love having things put in my face without my real consent. I'm a brainwashed little sheep.
genuinely believing that all fat people should be in a concentration camp.
Yes, a concentration camp. Let me be clear. I'm talking about a concentration camp where they're concentrating on diet and exercise.
I wouldn't necessarily want to go from one extreme to another. I also would not want to be spewing out stuff just to hopefully get a viral clip. So,
Listen, bro, I am totally fine with, because people are like, oh, he's just saying that for attention. I'm totally fine with saying things for attention if there's truth behind it. Like, maybe, I don't even think he's exaggerating. Like, when he said it, like, as a full plan, I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think that's a genuine idea he has, but you have to be good with your words. You have to put things in ways that are interesting, okay? And you still get the point across. It's not like he lied. It's like when I say, well, I can't even say that on here. What can I say on here that gets the point across? every example. I thought of 10 examples, and all of them would get me banned. So I'm not even gonna try.
Snap your fingers and look like any of us, would you not do it? Like, would it not be
I
worth
want to choose something like that. I want to go to a place where it's comfortable and it's healthy all around. I'm not doing things that could negatively impact me in a way to get to a place like that. Like I've gone through that. I've gone through having eating disorders from chewing gum and drinking water and starving myself in different ways to achieve something. Like when I was dancing, my dance teacher literally told me, if you don't lose about a certain amount of weight, I'm kicking you out of the showcase. So what did I do? I resorted to everything that I could possibly do to cut pounds like crazy. And it wasn't sustainable. It really screwed with me mentally, but I was doing it. And of course, like, in the moment, it sort of felt good, but then I fainted in class one time. And that really, really sucked.
So I feel like you would switch sides if it meant doing it naturally. Like he's obviously natural, he's natural.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
obviously not.
I would switch sides if it meant that I could do it in a healthy way. And I mean, obviously, like I expressed it, I'm working on that. And I'm not saying that what you did was wrong. I really applaud the fact that you're saying to people like, hey, this was what my journey was, this is what it took, but I really don't advise that.
Okay, so here's the thing, man. Like, excellence and comfort cannot coexist. If you want to be an anomaly and you want to be the trendsetter, you want to be the top guy, you gotta be able to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And as far as like weight loss, because you said I'm just saying things to get a viral clip, how would you deal with obesity?
Like I said, pouring life into people. How am I dealing with it? I'm sharing what it's taking.
Explain
I'm
what
sharing
pouring life is. It's like, what would that actually look like?
as someone who creates content online, I share what it is that I do in the gym. I share my routine. I talk about like, hey, today was a shit day, but guess what? I pushed past that and I just benched 405. That's more than I weigh. When I want to hang out with friends, if I know that my schedule does not allot me that time, but I know that I have this time during the gym, I'll tell my friends like, hey, pull up with
So
me.
you're inspiring others.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what if I told you at the camp, everyone's exercising together and they're inspiring each other?
But
Same thing.
you approached it at such a negative way. Like you approached it from a place of shame, and like most of us have blatantly told you that shame didn't really work. Shame is what led me to an eating disorder. Shame is what led me to unsustainable weight loss.
Whose
When
fault is that,
what
though?
we're looking for
Whose
is
fault is that? Whose fault is that you decided to go an unsustainable route with diet? Whose fault?
So if I was given a timeline that I needed to meet, and I'm trying to figure out without also having the tools to do so the proper way, and I'm just grasping at straws on how I do it, yeah, it's not sustainable.
Yeah,
That wasn't what he
whose fault
said.
is it that they chose an unsustainable route to lose weight? That's your fault.
It's
See,
an
the problem is that you're a
observation.
professional victim. I don't know if you caught on to this, but you're a professional victim. You constantly come up with certain excuses.
Oh, he's gonna... Oh, no,
You're fat. You're fat.
I haven't blamed not one person.
Looks like you just did.
All this other stuff. The reality is this.
I'm trying to figure out where these
And
misconceptions
that's why,
about me are.
again, you can say whatever
Okay,
you want to say.
I do love wrestling.
Like I said, I called you out, and I said, you're searching for the
That was like... Wow. I just saw a woman in hand motions and like the face. Like,
As an excuse for
I
why
think that's really sad.
I mean, yeah,
I think it's really, really sad.
We gotta pause. Let's bring in our disagreement. Okay, we're arguing so much I forgot the compliment. It was I don't want to be on the other side.
Oh. No, of course I would. I'm a curious person. I've been in much more traditional, like aesthetically pleasing shape in my past, but I've never gotten like your guys' standards. And of course, I'm curious about anyone's life, like what it's like to walk through their shoes. So I don't see why I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I absolutely chose if I could, I'd switch. So when I was, my lightest weight was 273, I wasn't anywhere near you guys, but I had muscles, I felt really good about myself, and now that I've fallen back, I literally like almost hate life because I got somewhere, got really close, and was out of reach, and now I'm falling back, and I gotta fight again. So if I could, I absolutely would switch.
What makes it hard to, like, I don't understand, like, you were 273 feeling great. How did you get back? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when I started my weight loss journey, I was very focused. Like I can't take any outside help. Like, I gotta do this on my own. I did all the research myself. So my problem was when I would hit plateaus, it hit hard because I'm like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Why am I cutting weight? So eventually, I hit enough plateaus to where like my mentality was breaking down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with the prompt, just saying, like, I'm probably going to go extreme, like, on your side of the spectrum, and that kind of stuff, but I would like to look like Tyler. Everyone wants to look like Tyler. Tyler is the ideal for me of what I want to look like, but, I mean, wouldn't be that short, too. But.
What is he wearing? Is that like a...
I'm just gonna say it, elephant in the room. Every fat person would want to be in shape. The
Yeah, that's exact. He talks just like me, so I like it.
They're not willing to do what's required to get in shape, hence why they are fat.
It's just, it's abundantly clear what you think, like I do.
Kudos to you.
The next prompt is, your physique is in your control. Can
Obviously.
you agree, please step forward.
Anyone who says no is dumb.
So long story short, in
Good.
2018, I got to my heaviest weight, which was 441 pounds, and I was depressed, like, I'm not gonna cuss, but I was depressed as fuck, man. Like, it was really hard. My weight had built like a cage around my mind, so even things that I knew were good for me, I couldn't even like go for it because my mentality was so messed up, and it got to the point to where I had someone tell me, dude, you're gonna die, and that hurt, you know, and I just put things around, and I think one thing we have to lose is accountability. I think that's the biggest thing. When I was growing up, my weight was always blamed to someone else. I was like, oh, my parents feed me too much. And it's like, you can close your mouth. Like, I have to eat, you know. But when I finally made that change in my head, I realized that where you're at, given like the ideal circumstances, it is your choice. I am where I'm at now because I made a series of wrong choices and didn't handle myself correctly.
I mean, you deserve to be depressed if you're fat. I mean,
I love this. I love this so much.
see, depression is a very healthy response to inadequacy. When you're a man, you gotta go out there and produce. We're not women where we can just coast on our looks and make it through life. As a man, you must produce.
I think it's wrong, bro, because no one deserves black people die from this shit, bro. Like, but no one deserves to be
Let me finish. The reason why you feel depressed and it's a healthy response to you being fat is because it's your body telling you, like, wow, what are you doing? You need to fix this. You're sad because you're not going out there and accomplishing what you're supposed to do. It's your masculine duty to make money, to be successful, to lose weight, to be strong and fit, so that you can protect and provide for the people that you love. And when you're not able to do that, you get depressed and you get sad, rightfully so, because you're
Yeah.
fat.
You just gotta add it a little. I love it. I love it. Perfect. Mwah.
Well, I've always been because you're a fuck up.
You experience depression?
Well, I've always been. I've had times where I've been sad and stuff, but I always get over it.
So you shouldn't speak on it. That's how
Ah, here we go. You can't talk about this because you get banned, but I'm sure you can assume my opinion on this. Oh my god, I caught the disease.
Yeah.
Depression most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time, I definitely agree. All the time, I can't talk about that because I get banned.
So it's facts. A lot of the times when people are depressed, it's because of their own inadequacies. You're messing up. There's something in your way.
Is that an inadequacy?
Bro, what an idiot. He says, oh, what if you get R-worded? Like, are you dumb? Like, what an idiot. Oh my god.
There's always going to be exceptions, but I'm saying generally in this context of being fat and why you were depressed, it's
That
because
was the only reason I was depressed to go on.
okay, but it's a component.
Yes, it was a big
It was a response to inadequacies, man. And the thing is that we live in a meritocracy. I know everyone likes to run around and say, oh, everyone's equal and it's all equality for everyone. No, that's not how the world works. Why the fuck should I be treated equally to someone who's fat, broke, not disciplined, and not as intelligent? It's a competition. Life is a competition.
Where are you getting the notions that people are not disciplined? Where?
That question answers itself.
Like, where is that coming from?
You look at depressed guys, etc. Look at their life. 9 out of 10 times, they're not going to the gym. They're not making the money that they're supposed to be making. They're not where they need to be. Show me a guy that's making money, successful, has a good set of friends around him, has a network, etc., that is depressed, you would rarely find that. Are there exceptions to the rule? Of course. There's always exceptions to the rule. There's always exceptions to the rule. There's always exceptions to the rule. But in general, when you get depressed, when you get depressed,
He just said there's exceptions to the rule. And he says like, oh, well, you're saying it's black and white. He literally said 3 times it's not.
Sometimes it's because you're recovering, it's your body's natural response to being.
Has anyone here ever felt like they didn't have control over their body or their physique?
There's times where I felt like I didn't have the control I wanted, but there was never a point where I'm like, this isn't within my ability to do.
I think we all go through stages, especially mental
Yeah,
health.
you wish it was easier sometimes, but other than that, it's like, no, of course I'm in control of it. I know I am.
So, I've started a fitness journey. I've been smaller, I've been bigger. I used to be a dancer. This, really was what fueled me. Hit a depression. I turned to food as, something to comfort me. And I realized that I was spiraling, right? Started working out again, kind of fell off of it. But this year I told myself it was my year for instance, right? That I was going to actively make the changes in all aspects of my life, including my health, including what my body looks like and what my body is capable of. And so I've been doing that. Now, did that mean that I was any less of a hard worker? No. I fucking worked 3 jobs. 2 of them that I love, and 1 of them is a survival job to make sure that I'm able to continue doing what I love. So I go to the gym every single day after work. It doesn't matter what time I get off of work. It doesn't matter what things that I have going on after work. I go.
That's good.
But
Happy to hear
again,
that.
Going back to assumptions, you looked at me and you made assumptions about laziness. About,
Wait, did he just
you looked at me and you made assumptions.
Bro, he had to hold in a laugh. That's gold.
About laziness.
That is the ultimate. I've done that so many times. I tried not laughing. That's like not right now.
Things like that. And that's the complete opposite. I reached out, I got myself a trainer. Because I was like, I can't do this alone. And I told him straight up, these are the things that I want you to work on with me. I want to work on building mass, losing weight, but most importantly, consistency. And I feel like all of you guys can agree
Bro,
with
he's
that.
trying not to laugh, dude. I could tell by his way his lips are. Dude. Jeez, man.
It is, right? Am I where I ideally want to be yet? No. But I also learned that I needed to love myself as
So
I work
terrible,
out and
bro.
build
So
those
bad.
skills, so that when I get to where I'm going, I can enjoy it that much more.
But no, okay, I'll give him some points here on a serious note. It seems like he's actually trying, which is commendable. Thing is, from what he said, it didn't really seem like he was.
It's a labor of love.
It doesn't have to be a labor of love. Some people who are overweight, are they going to the gym? Are they putting the fork down? Are they doing the things they need to do? If they spend 14 hours a week doing cardio and eating healthy, they will lose weight. I spend 14 hours a week learning Spanish, even though I am horrible at it, but I'm trying my best. And if everyone else tried their best, we wouldn't see anyone morbidly obese on this planet.
I don't disagree with you at all, but I think you said it's like you're spending 14 hours in Spanish. For me, I still work out every week. I still prioritize my health, but there are other things in my life that do
Eat
take
half the
priority.
calories, and you're going to be very sick. Guaranteed.
That's the whole
I'm not saying you need to. I'm just saying no
Yeah.
one should make excuses.
And that's why we all sat down. I totally agree. It's within my, because I've gotten really svelte in my past, but I was at like my worst state mentally, like didn't feel good, wasn't prioritizing the things that meant something to me in my life, my career, my family, my daughter. Health is still super important to me. That's why I still work out, still lift, still do cardio, still hike, still bike, still do all those things. The amount of time I've had to spend in the past to get to that isn't worth it in my daily life. I'd rather spend that time putting
I
off
would say also, would you agree, like looking at his physique, like he's at a perfectly, maybe healthy,
No,
maybe
he's definitely overweight, definitely obese.
I mean, if you count me in
I'm not trying to put you down, I'm just being honest.
by a BMI standard.
Well, BMI is a bad standard. But obese, the other dudes are obese. He's overweight. I wouldn't say he's obese. I wouldn't say obese.
Well, there's no difference between this weight and if you gain 200 pounds. But if you gain 200 pounds, like, why are you doing this to yourself? You know what I mean?
But I would be happy getting to it. That's kind of what I'm saying. I kind of found kind of like a homeostasis where I'm happy and I feel healthy and I feel active and I feel like I can do what I need to do. All my numbers are in the right place. So I feel that it's just, it hasn't been a priority for me to go further.
Yeah, you don't need to. It's all about balance. You're halfway there.
That's what I hear.
I was gonna say books, and I feel like myself, I feel comfortable with them right now. I've lost 100 pounds.
Congrats,
I
man.
have, and I can keep going. I can stuff, but like doctor says, everything's fine with you. You are obese, but I will never forget. The
Duh.
doctor told me you're healthy obese, which was like blew my mind.
Healthy for being obese.
Yeah, so I needed just one health condition.
Healthy for being obese. Wow.
To qualify under health insurance for a weight loss supplement for them. I didn't qualify. I had no high blood pressure, didn't have diabetes, didn't have anything else. So I was like, okay, well, I just want to lose weight because obviously as I get older, it's not going to be like that. But I mean, I didn't know how to control to get where I'm at right now or where I
He looks like someone that would get caught on TCAP.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like what's sustainable is different for everyone, right? I think there's a way to weave in fitness in your life in a sustainable manner that might not encompass you losing a ton of weight. I think people have different stages in life where they're focusing on different things, and I think that's something I can completely understand.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as long as you know that you have the agency to actually make that change,
Yeah.
when the time comes, when you want to do it, like I don't see anything wrong.
I was very curious out of show of hands, who here feels like after spending time in this space, you feel like you're closer to understanding the other side than when we stepped in the room.
I'm surprised. I understand it less. Literally.
We can't, we'd rather us blowing it open again, but this was a super interesting discussion. One of the more interesting episodes I've been a part of. So thank you all. Thanks for sharing your perspective.
Alright, there it is. Fatties versus fit men.